Hey there, speculators. It's Rod, your Futures Fanatic. Welcome back to the channel here on YouTube. Futures Fanatic is part of TDG. That's the Traders Dev Group. Education for active futures traders and self-directed investors. Remember, this video and everything I talk about here on the channel is for educational purposes only. You can pause the video right now to read more about our risk disclosures and disclaimers. Okay, let's talk about another video in our series of how to become a NinjaTrader bad ASS. And tonight I'm going to talk about building out a watch list, or as they say on NinjaTrader, the Market Analyzer. So the Market Analyzer on Ninja is one of the most unappreciated tools. I have not seen something quite as powerful on other platforms. There might be something that allows you to do a lot of what we're going to get into tonight. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and build out what you see right here. So what we got going on right here, I think it's pretty sexy, pretty good looking. So it is predominantly futures. You can trade Forex and stocks on NinjaTrader if you'd like. Not many people do. I guess people trade Forex, but not many people trade stocks. Ninja is predominantly a platform for trading the futures markets. If you just stumbled across this video, you don't know much about futures, they are the best instrument for active day trading. For day trading, as you'd say, not stocks, not crypto, nothing else, it's futures. So why don't you hit that like button if you enjoy the content here, subscribe, turn on the bell notification. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't dig it. All right, let's get into building out this look that we have here, which is called a Market Analyzer. Now, as you can see, it's Excel-like, it's columns and rows, and I have mine showing essentially the instrument last price change percentage, daily high, low, volume, ATR. This is what I'm going to talk about here is one of the real benefits of what you can do with Ninja. And then I have the P&L of all of the accounts that were connected to this instance of NinjaTrader. Now, in order to get to your Market Analyzer on Ninja, you're going to want to go to your control center. The control center is right here, and you're going to click on New, and you're going to go to Market Analyzer. All right, and this is the default Market Analyzer that you're going to get. Not too sexy. All right, so that's what it has. It has instrument, ask price, bid price, and last price as the default values there. All right, now your friend in NinjaTrader with anything that you're trying to do is essentially right click. So you're going to right click right here, and this is where you can actually go and start to show the values that you want. So if you click on properties right here, hopefully this won't move too slow. There we go. If we click on properties right here, these are the various values that I can influence on the on this Market Analyzer. All right, so I won't go through all of this. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to change the font size, you do it here. If you want to change the label role, where the label is aligned. Again, you can think of the Market Analyzer a lot like an Excel spreadsheet. So what you're going to do is just right click and do that right there. By the way, if you stick around to the end of the video, I will put some timestamps in here. Hopefully this won't get too long, but I'll show you how you can get access to my actual workspace for absolutely free, and then you can just import the workspace and you'd have this entire Market Analyzer for you if you'd like. You would have to connect to some live futures data. You could do that actually by getting access to one of the prop programs, futures funding programs. You can find some links below about how you can do that as well. You'll get access to all the data you need and learn about the futures markets. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to start by figuring out how to essentially add an instrument, right? So if we wanted to add an instrument, all we have to do is right click in here and go to instruments right here, and you say, add an instrument. And in this case, I'm just going to add the NQ. Another thing that you can do is right click and add a label row or a blank row. So if I added a blank row, you probably can't see that, but there's a row right there. And you would have to know what the symbol is that you want. So you go 03, ES0322, and that's how you add your symbols, right? If I was connected to a stock data feed, I could just put in Apple, whatever I'd like. You can actually import a whole symbol list, or again, you can check the link below for how you can get access to this workspace, and then you just put the workspace in your proper folder on Ninja, fire it up, and you'd have this entire work area. But again, let's talk about how you build it on your own. So that's it. So that's how you do that. Now, if you wanted to add, we'll toggle back and forth here for a moment. If you wanted to add something that looks like these what they call label rows, what you do with the label row is you right click right here and you add a label row, right? So you add a label row, and you'd call that, let's say you were adding Forex symbols, you just call it Forex. And remember, if you don't like it over there in the middle, mine are over aligned left, you go right click, you go to properties, and you would wait for it to come up, and you'd say that you'd like your label row to the left, and you hit OK, and there you go. Now it's over to the left. And then if you also wanted to put these colors on here, you could give it colors. We won't go into all of that, because what I want to get into now is one of the more powerful things about the Market Analyzer, and one of the things I use it for every single day, and that's this column right here, which is the 7-day ATR. I won't go into ATR tonight. It's the average true range. I use the 7-day average true range because I want to know what is the expected range for the day over a 1-day period in the instruments that I'm trading. So as an example, at the time I'm making this video, the markets have woken up a little bit, gotten a little volatile, and the daily range on the NASDAQ futures markets is 400 points. If you're not familiar with the futures markets and how the points work, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications, hit all the buttons, and you'll learn more about how it works. But essentially, that's $8,000 worth of opportunity on a full single NASDAQ contract because it's a 400-point expected range. When I say opportunity, that's if you caught the absolute high and low. Of course, no one ever does that, but that's the amount of range that you have going on there. So the NASDAQ here is 414 points, and this 7-day ATR, I can see what it is for every single instrument that I have on here. What is the expected range of gold, for instance? About 23 points right now. Okay, that'd be $2,300. It's $100 per point in gold. All right, so this is one of what we call a custom column, and let me show you how you add this because it's the most powerful feature, I think, of the Market Analyzer. It's a lot of watch lists are going to default to showing you the change and change from close, and they'll have the volume. If you go on a watch list for default watch list for just about any platform, what it's going to have is an instrument, right? It's going to have the change from close. It's going to have probably the high and low there. It's going to have the daily volume. What it's not going to have is these kinds of things where you can add actually custom elements here. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click in here. You're going to go to columns. Okay, it's not super intuitive, but you want to go to columns. You go to columns, and again, you wait for it to come up. And this is the real magic of the Market Analyzer, is all of these values here are available as columns that you can add. Most of them, again, are pretty standard. 52-week high, last close, last price, net change, all that stuff is pretty standard. But if you come down here to indicator right here, this one is super powerful, okay? Because you'll see in just a moment, if I double click on it, that's what I'm going to do. Or sorry, you hit add. Okay. So I've added an indicator here. So you don't double. I think the double click works as well, but you just hit add. So you click on the indicator, you hit add, and this says ADL on 1-minute data, and that means that it's the first indicator that comes up. Now I can choose from any indicator that I have on here. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to add the 233 exponential moving average, which is the T line. I'll talk about that in just a moment. So what I have to do is I have to click here and I have to find exponential moving average, the indicator that I want. Okay, so it is right here. They don't call it moving average, they actually call it an EMA. So I'm going to select EMA as the indicator that I want. And then once I've selected the EMA, I'm going to come and select the period that I want. So I'm going to put in a 233, which is the setting or the period. And I want it based on not a minute, but I want it on a 30-minute. And because so I want it on a minute and I want it on a 30-minute bar. And for this, I do have to look back probably at least about 90 days. Okay, so I want to look back 90 days. And the rest of the stuff I'm just going to leave standard here. I'm going to hit apply and OK. All right, so it calculated for just a bit, and then now I have EMA on 30-minute data. Okay, I have EMA on 30-minute data. Now let's say that I didn't like to have that entire thing there, and I just wanted to put a custom label on it. Again, I would right-click, I go to columns, and then I'm going to go back to that, and you'll see that there's an actual label there. So I come back down to here to the instrument that I put in there, and then I'm going to come down to right here where it says label. And I just want to call this a human readable thing that I know what it is. It's our T line, our trend line. So I'm just going to call it T line. Okay, something like that, T line, and hit OK. And this should change in just a second. There we go. So now we have T line. Watch, it's going to calculate in the background, and it's telling me that the T line for the S&P is 4660. So what I want to do is come over here to, no, I don't want that one. Let me just grab, all right, here we go. This right here, S&P, MES will be good. So the MES 4660 4660 right there is the T line. Okay, that's the trend line right there. If I come back here, it's telling me 4660. So what I can do is I can just have my market analyzer, and you can add as much as you want. Now, I wouldn't recommend adding a whole bunch of indicators there to be calculated and plotted against a lot of different instruments, because that might slow down your load time. But the Market Analyzer is a really, really powerful tool. So one last thing I'll leave you with here, because I don't want this to get too long. Again, it's right-click columns is going to be the way that you can really construct the elements that are in there. If you wanted to add the like net change or something like that, or a P&L, so we come to something like a P&L, profit and loss. So I'll add a profit and loss in there, and let me just show you then how I get the colors that we had on here, right? So I'll show you that in just a second. So you add the profit and loss, and then down here you have sell conditions. Okay, so if I just click add a condition, it's going to bring this up, and I'll go ahead and add a condition right here. And what I would do if I wanted it to be red or green, depending on the situation, you can just come in here and play with this, because you can see the trigger applies to all. So if the condition is crosses above or is equal or greater than a value of 0, then you want the background to paint red or green or anything like that. So that's kind of cool. So again, kind of like a cooking show, when you're done with everything, let me go cancel, come back to this. You can have something that looks like this. Again, you can add other values in here. So I have the 7-day ATR. You can put the 233 EMA in there so you'd know. And then you can even say, is price above or below that 233? You can color the background, and you can indicate whether something is in a bullish or bearish trend. Okay. So there are a lot of other videos from NinjaTrader and in their help menu that will tell you more about this market analyzer. But the market analyzer, I think, is one of the most underappreciated parts of NinjaTrader. If you're not familiar with NinjaTrader at all, it's probably the premier platform for trading futures out there, at least for retail trading of futures. And it's the platform that has been most successful, was most popular for the futures funding programs, which I talk a lot about on the channel. I have a bunch of videos on that. That's the opportunity to qualify for a funded account by trading a demo account using a risk-adjusted returns. And you're going to probably be using NinjaTrader if you go through one of those programs. So it's good to understand Ninja. Okay, one last thing. Remember, if you look down below, I'll show you how you can simply get access to this entire template. And you can just import it into the proper area within NinjaTrader, and you'll have this good to go as soon as you fire up your workspace in NinjaTrader. All right, we'll leave it there for tonight. Market Analyzer or the watch list on Ninja, very powerful. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, if you could like, subscribe, turn on the bell notification, it really helps out the channel. Futures is a very, very small and underappreciated asset class here when it comes to financial education and trading in general. People like the meme stocks, they like the Wall Street bets, they like the crypto. All that stuff is fine. I invest in a lot of that. But for day trading and also for getting access to capital, you're going to want to learn about the futures market. So I appreciate a like and a follow, or a like and a subscribe, as they say. That'll be it for tonight. Stay green, trade like you mean it. Thanks.